Everyone in the house called it their little ritual. Nobody clocked that it only happened at one specific time of day. Adeline Ferrero Whitcomb had worked front of house at a family restaurant for 9 years before staying home with her son, and she prided herself on noticing patterns in behavior. Who ordered what? Who was in a rush? Who needed extra patience? It was a skill she assumed would translate easily to motherhood. In one particular case, it took her far too long. Their St. Bernard Baxter had a habit that had started around 6-month-old Teo's mealtimes. Every single time Adeline brought the high chair to the table, Baxter would plant his massive head at Teo's eye level and press his nose gently, insistently, against the baby's left cheek, holding it there for several long seconds before pulling back, only to do it again a few minutes later. Everyone found it endearing. Adeline's mother-in-law called it his way of saying grace. Adeline filmed it for the family group chat more times than she could count. By the second week of this ritual, she noticed something she hadn't clocked before. Baxter only did it during meals, never during play, never during naps, never at any other point in the day. His nose always went to the same exact spot, low on Teo's left cheek, never the right. That detail would matter. She didn't know that yet. The third week, the ritual intensified. Baxter began doing it before Teo had even started eating, sniffing insistently at the same spot with an urgency that started to feel less like affection and more like inspection. Adeline's husband, Casimir, noticed it one Tuesday dinner and said what had been sitting unspoken in the back of both their minds. He's not just being sweet, he's checking something. Adeline laughed it off at first. 9 years of reading people's moods in a restaurant didn't translate into reading dog behavior, she told herself, and Baxter was simply an affectionate breed. She had no framework for dog inspecting a baby's cheek before every meal beyond simple habit. That Friday, during a routine feeding, Teo's face suddenly bloomed with faint red patches near his mouth, spreading toward his left cheek, the exact spot Baxter had been pressing his nose against for 3 weeks straight. Baxter this time didn't just press and pull back. He stayed locked against the spot, a low, continuous whine building, refusing every attempt to move him. Adeline's restaurant instincts kicked in before her parenting instincts did. She'd seen enough guests react to hidden allergens over the years to recognize the shape of what was unfolding. She checked Teo's breathing, saw the faint puffiness starting around his lips, and had him in the car within minutes. At urgent care, Dr. Adora Whitlock-Bassey, pediatric allergy and immunology, confirmed what the pattern had been quietly building toward: a developing sensitivity to a specific protein in Teo's formula, one that had been causing microscopic skin reactions on contact for weeks before becoming visible, always concentrated on the same cheek where the bottle nipple made repeated contact. This kind of contact reaction can escalate quickly if the exposure continues, Dr. Whitlock-Bassey explained. The fact that you caught the facial swelling this early, before it affected his breathing, made all the difference tonight. Adeline sat with that sentence in the exam room for a long time. Baxter's nose pressed to the same spot on Teo's cheek at every single mealtime. Not affection, not exactly. He was tracking a chemical residue humans couldn't detect weeks before it ever became visible on the skin. The increasing urgency each week, not a ritual deepening out of love, an alarm getting louder because nobody downstream was listening yet. And the moment he refused to be moved, the one time in 3 weeks the warning finally matched the emergency. If you love stories about what animals notice before we do, subscribe. This is exactly what we cover every week. They switched Teo's formula within days. Baxter's mealtime ritual continued for a while out of habit, softer now, less urgent, until eventually it faded into an ordinary nuzzle like any other. Has your dog ever noticed something about your baby that took you weeks to see? Tell us in the comments below. These stories deserve to be heard. Teo's skin cleared within 2 weeks of the formula switch. The first mealtime after that, Adeline caught Baxter pressing his nose to the same cheek one more time, briefly, almost like checking his own work, before settling calmly beneath the high chair the way he always had. If these stories matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Next week's story is about a dog who refused to let a toddler nap on one specific side of the crib and turned out to be right about why.